it's like just having the sex instincts of somebody that is that. It's like having a beautiful rose in your garden, this rose plant in your garden, and if you're not admiring it and finding it beautiful or taking care of it in any way, and you just literally ignore it and disregard it, I mean, that's the whole, its whole existence is to be beautiful.
It's between you and me.
No, I'm very glad that you, the two of you, are joining us today. We want to unpack another conundrum of the Enneagram communities today, which is being self-pres last, which is another very common mistype, I think. And I'm glad that you're here to bring us some clarity about what that actually means to your experience. And yeah, we're joined by Kaltra and Beth, who are both almost type twins. I think both of you have a 6-wing 5 and 3-wing 4 fix.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware. Yeah, and do you want to introduce yourselves maybe with type and instinct?
Sure. Okay, I can start. So I'm SOSX, social sexual, and core 9-wing 8 with a 6-wing 5 and 3-wing 4 fixes.
I'm Beth. I am SXSO 9-wing 1 with a 6-wing 5 and 3-wing 4. So we are so similar, but
Yeah,
different wing lines and inverse instincts.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm the one sexual last person on this call, but I think the boring Daisy in the background.
Oh,
that's my voice.
Absolutely not.
Had this thought that your 8-wing might support your stacking and the expansiveness of your stacking, whereas the 1-wing might support the specificity that comes with being sexual dominant. So I thought it was kind of a good fit for comparison, even though you're not complete type twins. But
yeah, I think that's true for me. I think my 8-wing does support me being to be expensive and kind of supporting social situations and kind of being fine to be on the background, but also supporting the whole thing kind of way.
The Synflow thing of growing something that becomes larger than you in some way.
Yeah. I wonder if you feel the same, Beth, but I think like the Bermuda thing kind of counteracts the SX display. It's like because the Bermuda kind of wants to be hidden maybe or not be so visible, and I feel like it just holds it back for me a little bit. Or maybe it's my social first that makes that. But.
Right. Well, I think that there are the 3 attachment fixes. So I'm seeing my display in sort of everybody's eye, and it has to be universally appealing. So I think that is a large portion of how it works.
Okay, so maybe not as out there, like maybe a 7 or something.
Or 3, like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she also Bermuda or not? Do you know?
I think she's DJ.
Yeah.
DJ. Yeah, that makes sense.
DJ makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but sorry, you go.
I think the 5 also makes it a little bit more hidden as well. The
Mhm.
4, so there are all 3 withdrawn fixes there, 9, 4, and 5.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's a lot in play. I also have, all 3 competency, 1,
Mhm.
5. It alters
Mhm.
my vein a bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially for a triple attachment type, the overlay becomes even more prominent in how the type operates, and you can feel it as more of a strong influence than you do on people who have more hexad types in their actual Trifix structure. But yeah, that's interesting about the 6-wing-5 fix being very hidden, because we talked about this before, that it's actually the most private head fix. I think it's way more private than even a 5 fixer is, because a 5 fixer isn't attached to the grid in their thinking. So they are more likely to overshare because they just don't filter what could be perceived as what. And the 6-wing-5,
Yeah.
the added competency and the added withdrawnness on the 6 is the most meticulous and the most private detective head fix.
yeah, this is the first
Mm.
time I've done a video. I'm slightly terrified, but
But you're doing so fine, really. Yeah, but did you have like special questions prepared or something? Because I didn't.
Well, I do
I
have
didn't
some,
get
yeah,
those. So.
I do have some topics in mind. So what we did in the 7 call, we weren't addressing self-pres or sexual dom as much. We were addressing social blindness. So this is what I would like to focus on too, is what it means to be self-pres blind, because what I often perceive in the groups, what I often observe is like the way people who are actually self-pres blind frame their experiences is somewhat relatable to many people who are not self-pres last. Like I've seen people write they forget to pee for like hours, and then
Yeah, me too.
yeah, see, and you're not self-pres last. So
No, but 7 is also very, SP last lookalike. So yeah. So yeah, and also it looks like something that I'm already bad at. So it sucks that I'm not blind at it. It's like what? It's like
yeah, but that's the thing. I'm extremely, utterly shit with money, and I don't even perceive it as real. I don't have a steady income. As long as I'm not completely broke and can buy food, money doesn't exist to me. And as long as there's enough money to buy beautiful things, but still my focus is on on SP. I can ignore that I need to pee for hours, but it's deliberate ignorance. I know I need to pee, and it's more like an SP thing of fortifying the body, of seeing what can I get from this, how frustrated can I make myself if I don't go pee for hours, and then maybe enhance the feeling of discomfort that I already have. Whereas, yeah,
or like if you're like busy, like in some kind of tunnel focus, or like very focused on one thing, and you're like completely invested, like in flow. And then if you need to pee, it can like enhance this state of flowness for me at least. And then if I break it, if I go to pee, then it's like, yeah, but now it's like disrupted. This isn't like this urgent thing anymore, it's like broken or something.
Yeah. I guess
how it all feels. All self-pres, like eating, like what, like I'm not interested in thinking about food at this moment. Like this is interrupting my thoughts right now. I have much more interesting things going on. This is just a nuisance.
Yeah. So where does your focus go in situations when you're alone and when you're with people? Where do your thoughts attach to? What is it that's more interesting and juicy to you than thinking about food?
anything. I mean, the sex instinct itself is focused on object of affection, an obsession of some sort, whether it be a person or an interest, some way that I have a display of some sort, or my appearance, or anything really. Have lots of dialogues in my head and thoughts in my head, and that's just more what I'm thinking of at all times. So.
And for you, Kaltra?
Well, when I'm with someone else that I'm intrigued by or interested in, or that's just a good friend, my focus is just on them and whatever is going on between us. So whatever they're saying and whatever I'm going to say, it kind of just in social situations when I feel most present, actually. And when I'm by myself, I guess, I don't know, whatever is going on. But it's usually I'm just daydreaming in my head most of the time when I'm by myself. But I mean, the physical stuff is just, it's there. It's like something that just has to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't completely ignore it. I mean, it's there. And like the food thing, I mean, my relationship with food is a little twisted on the other side, but it's just something that I have to take care of. But it's like in the very back of my mind. Okay, well, just check that off so I can go on and do the things that I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so hard for people to parse it apart, because as a sexual lust, it is possible to completely ignore or amputate the sexual stuff, the energy, the chemistry, your own way of attracting or being attracted, your body responds to that. It is possible to go through life without ever activating your sexual instinct, but it's not possible to go through life without ever eating or spending money or
yeah. Well, that's the frustration or the what makes me angry, actually, a lot of the time, that I have to take care of these things, and takes me away from things that I want to do. And I mean, I guess 3 of us are here, our parents. There's things that you can't ignore when it comes to, you got to take care of the kids or all these things that you got to do, and they always press upon my my attention, my consciousness, and I hate it. I kind of want to push away from it, but it needs to get done. And the way that I get those done is by associating with social mystics. So it's like, I guess the thing about being SP-blind is the major thing for me is that my life has been for other people mostly. So I only do things that will please someone else or will impress someone else or kind of keep someone else be in my life, but I don't do them for me. Makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
That's kind of sad. That makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, the world is built by sexual lust people, or the majority of what we consider important in life is the system that we're grinding ourselves to death in is built by people who are SP social and maybe some SOSPs, and it must feel like, if you don't have that instinct, it must feel like you're being exposed in the desert and you're seeking an oasis and you're seeking this thing that nobody really cares about, but you just feel like you're starving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Prior to understanding the instincts, I had I was just very honestly, I was sort of very depressed. Like it was always very confusing why I didn't care about these things and why I was so poor at these things. I didn't think about these things. It always but then understanding the instincts, I lost my train of thought. You have to edit that out.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fountain of a lot of grief, I can imagine, because there's this message of the world that you need to change, that you need to integrate this shit. It's not quite the same message for sexual lusts. It's
Mhm.
about become
But it's
more
also
dangerous, become more risk-taking, become more attuned to your own attraction, become more aware of chemistry and relationships that don't have a spark anymore. Nobody's giving you this advice. It's just you need to hustle more, and then you can relax
yeah.
at 60 or 70, and you
Yeah.
made
Yeah,
enough
that's
money,
actually
and your life
true.
can start. I mean, how
Yeah,
fucked up is
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that you say that, because it's kind of true that like all the other stuff is like pressed on by parents, you know, like, oh, you have to do this and you have to brush your teeth. Okay, but like the SX Dom stuff, you know, if the parent isn't like this, then yeah, you're just fucked. You go find it, find out yourself, you know. It's like go
Uh,
out in the wild.
my parents encouraged giftings and talents to sort of abound in my life. Like they were
Mhm.
very encouraging on me pursuing art and pursuing music and piano, and I danced ballet, and I mean that was my life growing up. It was just
Mhm.
you know, doing things that I love to do, getting fascinated with them, and performing in a way, just being me. Like I had a lot of freedom to do that. The hitch came when I, you know, had children and got stuck in that sort of mess, and that's when things sort of all tumbled, and I couldn't quite get a grasp on
Mhm.
on that being having not
Mhm.
having self-pres. It was kind of debilitating. I would say debilitating in that time of my life. So
Yeah, would you say, the both of you, would you say that you lack the structure, or what is it that makes the most the greatest hole in your way of operating compared to what others can do or do more?
there's no desire to do that. There's absolute zero interest or zero fulfillment, no satisfaction. It's just frustration and confusion to me to be
Do you mean the
in that,
role? Do
feel
you mean
lost.
the role as a mom, or like the role as a housewife or something?
Housewife. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there is like no juice there, because it's like not
Boring.
like when you grow up, when you grew up like this fascination field of like piano playing, whatever, and then suddenly you're a housewife and you have to do fucking boring tasks that you weren't, that was not for you, that was for other people. You were supposed to dance and tend to the flowers. So yes,
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
understand that. Yes, yes.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't even
horrible.
think of those things.
Mhm.
Like it just doesn't come up in my mind. Like if I don't write them down somewhere, if I don't like
We're not
put
gonna,
reminders or something, I'm just gonna forget, because it's just not in my radar at all.
yeah, it's
And
what
it's
it is.
like
The
I
thoughts
always,
don't enter your brain. Like
yeah,
they're not there. It's
yeah. So it's just always having to force myself somehow to kind of do
Oh,
that.
what do you mean then? Like force, like what? Like is it like house stuff, or is it like I don't know, uh stuff to do with your kids? Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like mostly house stuff or stuff to do with the kids, with like the physical taking care of them. Because I love spending time with them and playing with them and doing all the stuff. That's not a problem with that at all. But with like, you know, I'm the one that has to remind my kid to brush their teeth or remind them to make their bed. Like, I don't care about making the bed. So I have to be the one that says this. I have to be the one that you have to study and get all the good grades, and you have to work
So
first and play
bad.
later. Like, I don't want to do that.
right.
Oh,
I agree with
sorry,
that.
but that's funny. Yeah.
So there are portions of self-pres that I do that I don't mind doing. And I think I go at it from a sex sort of perspective,
Mhm.
starting at sex and moving down to social into self-pres.
It's relevant for you. It's relevant for your dominant instinct in a way.
Right. Well, I think, and
Mhm.
also being a body type, I am concerned with the way my body looks and being like proper nutrition. My dad is a chiropractor, so I'm concerned with that. I'm concerned with working out, but it's not, it's in mind of how I'm my appearances. I don't really care about the other part.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that's not how my brain conceives of that, at least.
yeah.
I can understand. It's like just like the outside. If the outside is okay, then it's okay. But yeah, maybe you're like rotten inside, which well, if you don't see it, if other people won't notice it, then it's okay, right?
Well, I think that,
Oh, this is hard, man.
I will say that I wasn't always into like working out. This was about 3 years ago when I realized that my blind spot was self-pres, and that the majority of the world looks at a body and it considers it part of a sexual display. I mean, this is a little bit, kind of, I probably shouldn't be telling everybody this, but it was,
Oh, but it's interesting.
but
Yeah,
I
because
was like, this is, that when people look at me, like that is sort of what they're going to, that's how they notice. And I, I want my body to look a certain way. So I did start working out, and it was actually really monumentous for me, to be honest. I think being a body type and sort of being reconnected to my body. But it took me a long time. Till like 3 years
I
ago.
like that. I liked the example because it also shows that you want to be palatable for like a bigger crowd. It's like not like with me, because I don't fucking care about the fucking bigger crowd. But or like being palatable for like most people or whatever. So I thought it was very interesting, because of course, yeah, if most people are thinking a different way, that it's like for you it's like
didn't occur to me prior, but then I was like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, but that's actually a good thing to
there's
know then.
internet.
And then you can like trick yourself into just like doing stuff that you don't want to do. So,
Yeah. For me was that the message that I have to watch what I eat and exercise and all this stuff came from a social way. And at times I have a negative association with social. So it's like it, instead of pushing me to do it more, it made me rebel against it. Well, fuck you, I don't want to, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So
That's your gaming too.
Yeah, also I was gonna say, just no, I won't deal with this crap. Get it away from me. Yeah, I think, or I imagine that particularly when becoming a parent, this SP blind spot hits you really hard. I've heard this before from self-last people, and even I as an SP dom was thinking I had all the structure and I had my routines and I could function well and I could juggle the upkeep of having a clean house and everything under control. But I didn't have to take care of kids, and I didn't have this whole unexpected scenario that's unfolding every day, and that's throwing stones at my meticulously built tower of SP. And to my husband also, I'm married to an SP last, and then this was when it became for him very apparent that his role is suddenly to be a provider. Because I stopped working, and I his role is to be a provider, and the message from the world is also to be this, and he's also a 9, so is to be to provide for the family and to to be dependable. I was going to come back to that. I think that SP last actually make fantastic parents, because an example that happens when we're eating dinner and my children suddenly get up and say, I want to dance. And I'm like, I can't dance right now. I need to clean the table. I need to load the dishwasher. I need to, and this is really at the forefront of my mind. Like, I can't allow myself to let go and be in the moment, because I need to do this shit right now. And whereas he can just get up and make me play music and start dancing with the kids. So I think self-pres last is particularly able to be in the moment, to really be with people in the moment, and to kind of ride on that energy wave, whereas SP DOMs in particular always have this yeah, I've called it an ogre before. It's like this thing, this hideous monster that's standing there and that's saying, no, you need to get shit done first. And then you can be in the moment, but then the moment is gone. And that's the grief of being SX last a little bit, that you pass on moments because you think you need to get shit done first before you can allow yourself to just be.
Think for the SP last on the other hand of that, like you can be in the moment, you know, I can get up and dance with the kids, or we're like, you know, fuck the dishes, we can just go do whatever. Thing is, the dishes are still going to be there, so I have to still do them. And if I keep doing in the moment thing, there's going to be a mountain of things that need to get done, and then I'm not going to want to do it, and it's just going to feel like this overwhelming thing that I don't want to deal with, and that causes a lot of grief there.
Yeah, Kaltra and I both have a lack of 7. So which shows up in situations like this. Like I might be more inclined to just get the dishes done. Not, or just, you know, I kind of do them on my own time, but like I leave them to the morning every day. Like,
I have to let them soak. That's why I didn't
exactly. Yeah.
Finding explanations to keep it away a little longer.
They're fine. Just don't look.
Yeah, that's I mean, about this you need to do this stuff and you don't find joy in it. I wouldn't say that most SP DOMs find joy in doing the dishes or in cleaning their house, but they find joy in having it done. They find joy in having an environment that's comfortable and that's tidy and that has the right temperature and the right atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. And I know atmosphere is also a big sex key buzzword, but I think, yeah, for an SP last, from my experience, it's just less pressuring to have these kind of optimized environmental settings to be comfortable or to
yeah, I was thinking, yeah, my boyfriend is SP dominant and he doesn't fucking care about doing dishes. He's just not doing anything, like, ever. But of course he's also 9, so I don't know if that helps. And yeah, social blind. But yeah, he just leaves it all. And you know, okay, yeah, I'm self-pressed secondary, but then I feel a little bit of the need to do it because I know how bad the rest of the house is. So it's like pylons and pylons of stuff that I actually still need to do, but I don't do it. Like fucking cleaning. You know, I don't have kids, so I can just ignore all that shit until I can't walk again or until I can't like find shit. And then I have to buy new shit because I can't find my old shit. And so it could happen that I have like the same object like a million times just because I can't find them anymore. So yeah, that's, yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because yeah, that could be, you know, if you just look at those facts alone, like, oh, just like lazy bum on the sofa, never wants to fucking clean the house.
Last, yeah, no, that's not simple. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's actually, you can just fucking suck at like, you know, some things of an instinct and still, yeah, and still be dominant in it, or the other way around, that it's like your last instinct, but you can, I don't know, whatever, do certain things or certain aspects of this this blind instinct. So I think that's interesting because I think there's a lot of misconception about those, because people, they tend to take things very literally, you know, like the
Yeah.
different zones, for example. They will like to fucking focus on like these different zones, and then like, yeah, but you know, there's only these 3 zones, so you know, if I shine in those, then I must be dominant in this instinct or blind in this instinct. And it's so much more than that, you know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I relate to it. I don't relate to it. Checkbox marking is the worst way to type oneself.
Mhm.
It's just leading to lots of wrong turns and
Mhm.
Yeah.
nowhere futile. It's futile to do this.
I think you kind of have to look at your life in totality and see like relatively which one is least important to you or something. So like I'm pretty good at some SP things, you know, like while I was married and all that, I was the provider. So I was the one working, I was the one making all the stuff. Yeah, so like I mean you could be like, oh yeah, well so you're good in SP, but that's kind of using my
But you
other
do it,
stuff in my
yeah, you do it for like a different reason. Maybe you're just like
yeah,
doing it because of the kids and because of the environment that
yes,
you're in
because
wants it from you. It's like your role.
exactly,
You have to do it. So if you don't do
yes,
it, people will be mad at you or something, or you will
yeah,
be seen as a bad mother or a bad wife or whatever. So I think it's
And that's
also
a social reason that you just named, for example.
yes,
That
yeah.
yes,
important.
those are all my reasons that I had to take care of my kids, and my ex, he couldn't work, so I had to, you know, be the good wife and make sure that I take care of everything, and I had to also make my parents proud and be, you know, successful and all these things. So these were all social reasons why I was okay with you know, being competent
Doing
at
that.
my work and all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, and also triple attachment, of course. I think that
Yes.
also
More
will help.
adaptable, more adaptable to whatever circumstances life throws at you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah, but it's interesting because when you grow up, it's yeah, I don't know. You get so much influenced by the fucking environment that you grew up in, or the whatever
Yeah.
your parents, and it's like
Mhm.
probably
And
harder for you guys to see yourself separate in a way, or like move against them, or like separate yourself from old stuff or like beliefs or something. I don't know. Yeah, I just like throwing stuff out here. Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I moved out of home when I was 18. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I went to college, and I've been on the East Coast since then. I got married really young, and I've
is it far away from your parents where you moved?
yeah, yep, they're if I drove there, it would be like 24-hour driving.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty far then. And did you have like a good relationship with your parents?
I did. I mean, I drove my parents. My mom is a 6. She's funny. At a 6, you know. And my dad, I believe a 1 actually.
Fun energy at home. Yeah.
Yeah, we were also saying that we want this to not be too relatable, and we can't. It will happen. I'm sure of it, that there will be people saying, "Oh, this is absolutely clear to me now. I am self-read last. I relate so much to all of this." But I really, I would love to touch upon.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting because like the Bermuda is like the most common, like quote unquote. So if people were like, oh no, we completely don't relate to these people, that's also not good, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I love that actually.
Yeah, but they can all claim me. They can all be like me.
And I do think that being a self-press last triple attachment type is actually very odd and rather rare. And I've thought about this before, that being lost in the instinct that makes the world go round would perhaps be easier for a hexa type to
function.
not to function, but to not question your identity or way of being as much.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I guess every blind spot sucks, but
Yeah.
Right.
and regardless of type, but
yeah, but I think that you
I
can.
do think that 9s who are not self-pressed last lines and 9s are like two categories for me, because I do feel like there's a stark contrast, especially in 9s, and maybe that is also because I know a lot of 9s, or I'm close to more 9s, but I guess in particular, I don't know a social sexual 9, but a sexual social 9, I think, gets mistaken for a different type very, very often. And often even with 4. I mean, not that people do conflate 9 all the time already, but with sexual social, you get a very kind of mysterious 9 that is even more elusive, and that is specified in what they put out, and often very very skillful about it, and very because a sexual type is always focused on what sets them apart and what makes them attractive. Because I think, Beth, you wanted to touch upon the competition zone and the competition aspect of sexual dominance, and this, maybe you can talk about that.
Well, yeah, that's where my attention is going. It's going on things that are beautiful and things that are attractive, and how to make myself attractive, and exactly what that is and what it looks like. All, 24 hours a day. I would say 3/4 of my time is completely directed into that.
Yeah, I relate.
Yeah, that's where my thoughts are. It's obsessive.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's very obsessive.
So
Like,
that's why there's no time for
time.
self-press. I'm not considering that. It's not going to be, it's not important to me, and I'm not going to be contemplating about that. It's going to be jarring to me to have to enter into that and to have to do that, because it's taking me out of my my zone, what I'm interested in.
Your flow a little
So, and
bit.
I talk about the the sex instinct, how it functions a little bit, about the competition. I think you were asking about.
Please do that.
It's a little hard to talk about. It's kind of embarrassing, but it is very, I mean, it is where your attention is going. If you're in, if that is your primary instinct, that your attention is going to go towards what will be attractive, but setting yourself apart from others who are also attractive, and knowing who they are, and knowing what's going on, and where you stand, and how it's just kind of wild. And being a sexual social, I will say that there is a little bit of an added thing there, being able to notice the chemistry within the social realm. Do you know what I mean? So sex firsts are very competent, I would say, and very keen on seeing chemistry and seeing competition. When they have social, they're very keen on seeing that chemistry filter into the social realm and see exactly where it goes. It's like obvious. It's like, oh, there's a chemistry exchange right there and right there, and I see it, and it's very, very obvious to me. So that is part of where your attention goes with this instinct. It's
and when you're completely attuned to your or hyper focused on your own position in the social realm, you're less free than an asexual self-pressed type who's just doing their thing and not no awareness on what others do or how others. I mean, you do have awareness on attraction stuff. but
Yes,
it's
yeah.
not you're not
Yeah.
entering a room and saying, okay, these people fucked. Or it's not, I think that's particularly an SXSO superpower to be like, oh yeah, to read also who's interested.
Not always right, but I'll see things, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not
You
always,
can
I
track it.
don't know for sure, but I'm like, oh, there's something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I also thought about the thing that you said, like relating to what I said in my video, that that I would like if I go out on the street and then I see that I constantly like try to look at, you know, like people and like to spot like interesting things about them, and then
Yeah.
if I see that I just like I need to compliment it. It's like
That-
it creates this tunnel. I don't know. It's like this exchange, and then I can leave like, I don't know, some kind of spark there, and then I move away again, and I like to do that. And you said that you also relate to that, and I thought that was interesting.
That is how I would talk with somebody. I mean, actually, I love a first impression with somebody, anybody. And that is exactly what I will do. I will find the interesting thing about them that I get lit up by, or that is, you know, intriguing to me. And I'm going to pull that out of them, and I'm going to talk about that. And we'll have a really dynamic, interesting conversation, or just something. And I could just be flattering them in some way, you know, find something beautiful about them, something endearing, something that they're wearing. I mean, anything that's something that's
Sparks your interest. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And
And then that's it. And then
Yeah, but it's true. It's actually more freeing in a way for me, because I'm like freed from the burden, you know, to know or even care about whatever. I fucking don't care. I just like it, you know. I just like, I also don't care about being weird. It's, I don't know, it's part of my thing. So
yeah,
so it's like
974 is
very
very hyper specified, and
yeah.
whereas 963, we're, I guess, more softer, a little like
Yeah.
something that I find interesting is being sexual dominant and a withdrawn core, in particularly 9, because I do think that this, and being a gut type, because then I think the focus on attractiveness and on body stuff is more on than in other sexual core types, because 9 has this line to 3 that secretly wants to be adored or perceived or have admiration and validation, but they would never be so cheap and just show off and demand the attention. So they are making themselves into this desirable, beautiful thing that is being watched from afar and adored, and doesn't have to do anything. Just by existing, just by being present, you can get the admiration that you secretly crave and that you would never just push onto people. And
that would feel pretentious or presumptuous. I would say it's more understated. Yeah,
More natural that way. Sorry.
What is it like for you, Kaltra, when you are in I mean, you seek to feed your social instinct, and you're doing this also through chemistry sparks, or doing giving spice into social situations. So what's it like for you to do the reverse?
How does it work? I'm also interested at that, actually.
Let me see if I can put it into words. So the what I'm looking for is not so much the attractiveness thing, but I kind of want to see people who want to interact, or people who kind of want to engage with me on something, and through that engagement, like I want to get to beyond the layers on the surface. So there's people who are just their surface and that's it. They don't want to go any further. So those are not interesting to me. But people who want to go a little bit deeper, I kind of have a sense for that. So I kind of figure out how to talk to these people. And if they, I say something, they say something back, and here we go. And then we just go a little bit deeper. And then you can use the sexual instinct to kind of like dig, like focus on certain things, or like maybe be a little bit shocking or something, kind of like to burn through those layers in the beginning so you can get to like the core of who they are. So that's what's the interesting thing for
in
me.
a playful way, and
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess as a 9, I kind of like to make people feel comfortable in my presence, so they can just kind of feel relaxed and they can just open up on their own, So that's kind of how I do it. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, it's hard.
And the details of it, but like that's how I see it.
This was beautifully put. So you're both seeking this psychological nakedness in people that is giving you the best of social and the best of sexual, and you're doing this in a similar yet reverse way. So your focus is directly on the people, or on the person, on the social interactions, and your focus is directly on the chemistry, or on the energy of a person. And then you can use social to get behind this energy, and you're focused on the person, and you use the energy to kind of penetrate the person deeper.
Yes, that's good, I guess.
I would agree. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating, because the sexual instinct really makes people come alive in interaction with them.
That's
kind of like
activating.
That's
kind of like I don't know, like prick through the shell or something, or it's like an easier way to get through the boundaries to
soften
do
them
it.
and open up a little bit, and it's
It's more playful. It's like it's probably less threatening for the other person if there's like social involved, probably.
I'm not threatening.
I would say that it's more it's smarter or more refined, because the social is giving the sexual instinct some structure and goal and usefulness, whereas the self-preservational instinct doesn't, or not in a way that having social and sexual combined in a stacking does. So
that's more open in a way, I think.
More therapist stackings, social sexual and sexual social, because you really can use the sexual instinct for transgression in people. And this is what I've heard from sexual and people with sexual before, that they have this they can actually change people's lives just by giving advice, or listening to them, and get just reach psychological breakthroughs in the other person. So that's very powerful.
I mean, being a 9, I don't know that I want to claim that power, but but I do like to think of myself as that person, or I like to be able to do that for people if they're willing. Like I don't push anything on anyone.
I do. Supporting people and encouraging people and pulling things out of people that are their giftings, and saying this is something that you need to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like to do that. The thing with people, and then try to encourage that, especially when it's like a talent or something, because when I work with kids, so when I see this raw talent in them, or like something that I notice that they're like good at, I will try to encourage it, and also try to, I don't know, I like to do that. So yeah, but it's less thinking about the whole picture or like
yeah. You're like, fuck people, do your own thing and be fabulous.
encourage them.
That alone is also, it speaks to your 7 core. It's just like, don't give a shit and be whoever the fuck you want to be. And so it's just emphasized with your stacking. Whereas
Yeah, probably.
having social means seeing the bigger picture and seeing the impact that you actually make on someone.
I like that though. That's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be spread
Wonderful.
towards more people too. Like if it's not a singular, it can be singular, but can also be,
Wider. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's a difference between Contra and Synflow as well. The Contra being kind of more widespread and focused on the bigger picture, and then Synflow being a little bit more focused in. Usually my thing is to focus in on that one person, like one person at a time. Like I'm not really thinking of the wider implications of society, but I could think of how society could be affecting that one person. So this is kind of like what I could help them figure out, and how they're kind of the social implications of their position, or that kind of thing. But it's all about them and them unlocking whatever it is within them or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could say that Synflow is doing it right, ostracizing the sexual social line here, and Contraflow is actually, going against the flow and fucking their main instinct up a little bit with using that second instinct. Do you experience that sometimes, or do you think that using social to feed sexual is sometimes problematic for you, or is maybe less rewarding than for a Synflow person, because it has a disruptive quality to it, and this disruption, however good that may be for the person you're engaging with. I mean, Contraflow people are the ones that create change in societies or in people who are more tense, because they reverse the clock for a little while. And so do you have some thoughts on that for yourself, Beth?
On the Contraflow part of it, I may have to think about that a little bit. I can think about social as a secondary, how I experience social as my secondary instinct. I might have to think about the Contra part of it a bit though. I mean, in general, if I'm in a bad place, then social can be eliminated. It can be sort of like withered down to too small. But typically I mean, social is my fun. It's fun. It's not super stressful really for me. It's entertainment. Like I don't really know all of the, I have a lot of social first friends, and they have very specific language and very specific rules that they follow within social, and I don't always know all of those, so I'm sure I break them and make mistakes. I can be a little clumsy in that, maybe step on toes or not understand group dynamics quite a bit. It's just not as important to me. I'm more just everybody is kind of very equal and exciting to me. And
for social dominant people, it's very serious. They take this like this, I don't know, like the social sphere more serious than somebody with like social
it's fun. It should be fun, I think.
Is it fun for you? Is it fun for you, Kaltra?
The social part? I mean, I wouldn't say fun. It can be life-giving to me, or I feel like I'm dying if it's not a good situation. But the fun part is the sexual part.
So
that's
it's
the
like
one that
much life or death situation for you, maybe, than this social.
Yeah, do you feel like you have more control over your sexual instinct? Because I feel I have the most control over social, because I can just amp it up, tune it down, not care about it if I have
Yeah,
Not
I,
as-
I think I have more control over my sexual as far as like if I feel an attraction or a spark somewhere, if it goes against my social, then it stopped right there. But if I want to amp it up, I can amp it up. A lot of times I feel like I create the spark rather than, it being there. It's just whatever. And it's just not as important. So it's like the spark is there, let's have fun, and then we move on to other things, It's not like we have to be joined forever in this eternal burning fire or something like that, It feels, playful.
That's hilarious though.
Sex-
And a
sex
little bit
metal.
depressing and heavy. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
those that have sex as their secondary instinct are sort of like, it's wild to me. They just flow like the.
Yeah. It's like easier for them. It's like that
They just like throw it around like it doesn't mean like what are you doing?
Do both of you feel insulted by them banalizing your religion? Just
bit,
doing wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that. Yeah, for sure.
Why is sexual someone's religion? Because I don't get it.
No, but it's like so. Yeah, it's like so important. I don't know. It's not like a religion. It's like just
it is all
if
sacred.
people, I don't know, like make fun of, I don't know, your selfies, for example. You put like selfies out, and then with me this happens that then like, I don't know, fucking colleagues at my work, they do like, like mocking me because I fucking put selfies out, and it's like, I hate that. Yeah, man, I hate that. Or like one time there were like work people at my work, like construction whatever guys, and one of my colleagues, my coworkers, she told them that I do belly dancing. So now it's like constantly that these fucking guys, when I see them on the street, they do like mocking belly dancing. It's like, ugh, I hate it so much. It's like fucking cringe because they, like they turn it into a joke. And for me, no, I can't. I really can't. That's horrible. And it's stupid because for them, it's like, it's just a silly joke, but I don't like that shit, I don't know. For me, it's like, it's important for me. So yeah.
What do you get from the sexual incident? Like, what do you like? What does it mean to you to have I don't know.
For me,
what is
it's life. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. It's like my fucking juice. It's like the reason that I'm like this, because if I didn't have it, everything would be flat. Everything would be meaningless. I mean,
it's your sustenance, it's nourishment. That's it. Like it would be life would be void. Boring, like completely flat. It would be uninteresting.
Yeah, that's interesting how that shit works. I know. Yeah,
that is interesting.
What does social mean to you as a religion? How do you like?
Well, social is like, to me, is where you meet someone as like soul to soul or like heart to heart. You know what I mean? Like in a fully and vulnerably human place. So it's like, I don't know. It's that's the most important thing for me, when you have this openness between them and you have this kind of connection between two souls or two hearts or something, when you like seeing each other and like you see in someone's eyes and you're like, I know you, I can recognize you somehow. It's just a different feeling. And if I have that kind of connection, I mean, I feel high for like days on end. If I have that kind of, it could be just platonic and we're just talking. But if we get to this place where we're like, I can see your soul, then it's just like,
like connection, like that you're like at ease then or something, because it's like, I don't know, it's like
it's I don't know, it feels euphoric to me.
Something in yourself, maybe in the other person, or I don't know, like I'm thinking out loud.
I don't know, that's I don't know, it feels to me like that is what the being human is about. This should be the goal, to get to know someone like that in that kind of level where it's like you're letting go of your body limitations and all your social masks and all your other things that kind of you think you need to, you can just let go of that, and you just like to
be yourself.
Two beings, yeah, and just being yourself. And it's like this, it feels like really innocent in a way, where you have this kind of trust into each other. And it's like little kids like skipping around in a meadow or something. That's it, just
like vulnerable also. It's like
you can be vulnerable, but you're not scared of being vulnerable in that situation, because you trust them, and they trust in you, and it's just it's beautiful.
Oh, that's very beautiful. That was
that's true.
Yeah.
And
so
how would you sorry no, I was just thinking about how would you react when somebody that you have this connection with betrayed you?
It's, I don't think I've only had this connection ongoing with maybe 2 people in my life.
Okay.
And one has been my longtime friend from like 3rd grade. And my connection with her has been really strong, even though she left the country even before me. So I haven't seen her in over 20 years. But we still talk on the phone, or like with Zoom or whatever. But I still feel that same connection every time I talk to her. Was the same. So I don't know, like I don't think she would betray me. It would hurt, I think, but my connection from my end, it would not go away. Like once I get to that point that I have this connection, then like you are in my heart, you are in my being, so you're not going away. Like it might hurt and you might have to be separated like in life, but it's like you're always still be.
So you would like forgive the person for the stuff that they done, and you will make this friendship or this connection like last. It's not like you completely would
there are some things that I could not forgive, or like there's things that, well, okay, I could forgive it, but it would have to be, I cannot be around them in life, like it's against my own interests or whatever. Like they keep causing me pain if I'm around them, so I would have to separate that. But like in my heart, I would forgive them. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. I was thinking
how high the stakes are for a social dominant person, that you, to be social dominant, are the one who says, I've only had this connection with maybe 2 people in my life, when life is all about chasing this connection to you. But this also speaks to your ideals, which are just very high, because you have all these awarenesses and all these different spots that make for a perfect heart-to-heart connection for you. And when not all of these needs are being met, then the connection isn't good enough. And so it makes sense to me that the social seconds here could also trigger your way of regarding this social thing as holy, when we're being so casual about it. Like I could say, I mean, to me, social feels kind of expendable, or it feels like if I lose a friend, then that would cause me hurt, but I have this inner conviction that, okay, then it wasn't that important. And it wasn't even this connection that I made it to be. And then I don't need to be need to cry as much over that person. I mean, I would cry and I would write poetry or whatever and do pathetic things too. But I have this conviction that I can find a new friend. I can find a new
connection.
Yeah. To me, I feel like a piece of me is missing if I lost that connection. It's just, and it doesn't go away. So.
Wow.
That's beautiful. How would you feel when somebody you had like this deep connection with, that you thought that you trusted, but they betrayed you? How would you react?
But she answered this already.
Did she?
I answered that.
I mean Beth, because
but I think we need to specify on the sexual connection over a social.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't have as many social connections quite like that. They don't quite ever get into that level that Kaltra was explaining. Kind of ever. Like, that just doesn't, I have kind of a disconnect with that super intimate friendship like that. It's a negative, I would say. I don't think that's a positive thing. I think it's a negative attribute of mine that I have difficulty there, a great difficulty. I mean, I have been betrayed by friends, and it hurt me very deeply. I did make, you know, I made new friends. I don't want to, you know, discount that they were, that I wasn't hurt by that.
So there's more of a boundary thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, the sex instinct with those intense attractions like that is more rare to me. That and you know, those. Yeah, it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, of course, but it's more because it more hits your soul. Probably it's more deep. There's like less of a boundary thing there. It's like you're more being, I don't know, it's like automatically that you just give yourself over in this.
Oh, and then you live there.
Realm. Yeah, right. And then it's like fucking like too much. It's like all consuming in a way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sorry. No, but if you're thirsty for this all your life, because it is such a rare thing, and then you finally have it, and then it's being taken away from you, then yeah, you chase it like a drug high. And I do think that this is both social and sexual as a dominant instinct are super rare to achieve this bliss with this main instinct.
I prefer not to. No, it's okay. I could talk about when I was younger, there was somebody that was this for me. I mean, I want to say I was like 2 years old when and I remember hearing him sing for the first time. I may have been 5 or 6, and I was taken, and I spent my entire life with this person as like an obsession of some sort.
And was it
both ways?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I think in a sense, but our culture didn't quite allow that really. And in college, she actually dated my best friend, which I was okay with. We ended up getting married. I was okay with, and I had, you know, moved on. I think in my conscious realm, I had moved on, but my subconscious held on to it, and I dreamt about him until well into my 30s. This is really embarrassing to talk about, you know, how something like that occupies you. You know, it's very deep. It's your core. I mean, that is what lit up my life all growing up, you know, that thought. So
yeah. How is it? I would guess that both of you have been in relationships with sexual blind people. Yeah, how is this for you to be at the fountain of your life juice, but the lid is almost always closed?
Well, I think what Shanti was saying before about her work colleagues mocking the sex instinct. So I find that happens in relationships with the sex blind. Like they don't quite understand why this has such precedence in my life, and their response is to mock it in a way and be like, and it's like, you can't mock that. Like, what are you, that's not mockable. That's me. That's my core. Like, that's not, that, how dare you? But that, I could.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. I can feel that. Yeah.
Does it feel like you're trying to, because this is the feedback that I got from my self-press blind partner. It feels like you're trying to ignite fires, but the wood just won't burn, like it's wet. Like you're doing so much to.
So you just find fires elsewhere or in other things, which leaves your partner hurt. You know, it's complicated.
Yeah, but it's also necessary for sexual dominant people to still have this, this fire, and to be seen as the most, desirable, or the most beautiful or special or whatever. So yeah, in a way they need lots of reassurance, or like, that their partner still sees them this way, especially in long relationships, I think, because otherwise, they will become less engaged, and they will become, I don't know, or they will seek it elsewhere in a way.
My partner asks me whether I think he's beautiful or attractive or hot to me almost every day. It's just,
wow.
They want to hear. That's literally it. Just say that.
He starts asking it when I don't give him enough, when I don't engage with him enough beyond the daily what needs to be done, or talking about our social middle instinct shit, and connect over that same middle ground. But if there's no sparks flowing between us, if there's no flirts and reassurance and magnetic moments, then he's getting really threatened in his existence, like insecure, and
it's like something is wrong, or something, or they don't like you anymore, or it's like I don't know, they want to, I don't know, you feel that there's like something wrong then in your relationship in a way, when this is missing, or it's just like boring day-to-day stuff only, because it's like, oh, you don't find me attractive anymore, and then you go and think and get all sorts of whatever in your head.
Yeah, you just feel like you're dying, like you're withering away, like there's just
It's
interesting.
This caused me a ton of grief after discovering the instincts, to see that we were living for more than 10 years together, and we had this huge gap of understanding life, just another it's like living a two-dimensional life with your two instincts, and the third dimension is just not in your realm of consciousness. And me being angry and hurt and outraged about him not getting the most simple SP things, like why would you it's fall, why didn't you put a jacket on the kid? It's fall, why didn't you dress the kid correctly? Or this is just a banal shitty example, but and then not understanding what that how this is actually not at the forefront of the other's mind, and in reverse with me not valuing the sexual stuff enough, not giving the relationship enough life or fuel in its own, beyond the thing that we built together. And
Yeah, I told my my partner once, it's like this, it's gonna sound vain saying this, so I'm just gonna say it, just pretend pretend it's not me talking about this. Okay, it's like just having the sex instincts of somebody that is that. It's like having a a beautiful rose in your garden, this rose plant in your garden, and if you're not admiring it and finding it beautiful or taking care of it in any way, and you just literally ignore it and disregard it, I mean, that's the whole, its whole existence is to be beautiful.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, the sole purpose is to, just
to shine,
admire,
to be
beautiful. I mean, that sounds, I mean,
that's inspiring. Like, this is what
it is.
Yeah, it's not about.
But then have somebody completely disregard that and say that that's not important, when that is literally the primary function of your existence, or how it feels. Then you feel worthless in a way, and therefore you're not being fed, you're not, so you're going to find somebody else to shine for. It's kind of.
Yeah. Everyone who says that beauty isn't what's life about can go fuck themselves.
Okay, there we go.
And I say this without having
to me, that is like that is it. Beauty, finding things that are beautiful. Yeah.
Life is cruel and horrendous and pointless, utterly pointless. So what else is there if not beauty, which needs to be rare for us to even acknowledge it, and
you find it in everywhere, and like that should, like, that is literally, that's my goal, that's what I do, is to find it and to seek it and to point it out, to show it to somebody else, say, this is what's beautiful, look, it's so pretty, look, it's beautiful, and make them smile and light up, and
I also do that. I love that. Yes. Yes. I don't know, like, stop to smell the flowers, like if I walk somewhere, or I don't know, stop suddenly on the street and just like look at, I don't know, the sky or whatever, a beautiful building, and then just like point to a stranger next to me, look, beautiful. Okay, you probably wouldn't do that, but yeah. or you would, I don't know. Yeah. Beauty is very important for me too.
And to me too, it's just really hard to find it for me, but
your standards are too high.
It's not that, but also that beauty needs to have something
broken.
No, yeah, dangerous or imperfect, or to be.
Well, that isn't allure, of course. I mean, yes, it should have some element of darkness there to contrast. Maybe not gruesome, perhaps, but something darker.
Yeah, I guess the darkness or the shadow gives it depth. If it doesn't know. If you're looking at like a picture of a rose, for example, or like a painting or a bit, if they haven't put in the shadows in between the petals and everything, just feels two-dimensional, it's flat, it just doesn't hit. So, but if it's painted with shadows and everything, then it gives it substance and depth.
It's also really beautifully line to acknowledge the whole of it. So nothing is just beautiful or just sad, because there's always an ocean of depth to plunge, and nothing exists in singularity. If you have a line in your type, everything is more than the eye perceives.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I would like to ask you too, is how you and maybe you can think about how that looked for the two of you before you had kids and needed to be more SP for other people, but how your blind spot would feel threatening to your dominant instinct? Like if you became more stable and grounded and structured and less exposed and less yeah, I'm using sex blind language to describe all this, so I don't even know if I'm hitting it, but so I've used so many adjectives anytime I talk about sexual, but how would you feel that would threaten your social or your sexual display? Became more boring.
Well, I mean, okay. Let's see. For social, to think of SP things feels very materialistic to me. So it's like, it's kind of beneath me to worry about material stuff, you know, like I have these ideals and whatever. So it's like, you know, yeah, like I always kind of looked down on when I was younger, people who worried too much about the physical stuff and, you know, the little nitty gritty things. You know, I know better now, but you know, as a young person, yeah, I felt like I was in a higher level if I didn't worry about any material stuff or any money or anything. Like I prided myself on not ever caring about how much money the other person had or what kind of clothes they wore or whatever the heck. It was just, this was unimportant.
So there's also an altruistic element to it, like, because materialistic has some selfish hints to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, it's just idealistic, like the socialistic can be very idealistic in certain ways, and like all these higher ideals of how to be with other people and all these things, they come into that. So yeah, I just felt, I'm sorry, hold on a second, my phone is bugging me. Can you cut that out? Yeah, where was I?
It was
about... Okay, yes. So just when I always hated when people kind of looked at each other and what each other had and kind of judged each other on what, you know, what they possessed and all these things. That felt very I don't know, it's just like a physical, visceral repulsion to it.
So, I also think
the opposite of what high ideals of social is about, like, because that's superficial social stuff to judge people on their appearance. And as a social dominant, your social is way deeper and more meaningful than judging people about this bullshit and identifying.
Yeah, but I judge people about other things. You know, but yeah. So
but I also think it's maybe your 9 also shining through and just like wanting to accept and like I don't know, because I also noticed this in I don't know, other 9s or whatever, you know, this this rejection of what's maybe a 3 would value. So it's like yeah, so that could also play like a role here.
I relate to most of what you just said as well. I find that to be entirely materialistic and pretentious and like a turn off. Money in general is actually like a turn off to me. Like I would prefer not to be paid or have to deal with that. Like it's not.
That's not what life is about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like also a way to get stuff or to get stuff done. It's like not something that you can earn from you know, like you as in connection with another person. This feels like more meaningful in a way. So it's like more, you know, it's like more like, I don't know, it's, yeah, I can't find the right word for it, but yeah, it's like more important, you know, than
I would prefer
just
to
money.
do some art for somebody and give it to them out of my heart and make them feel special and then be paid. I mean, if there was payment involved, I really would, I get kind of a little, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
also creates an expectation, and it's putting your art and your gift of energy into weird preset terms. But it's like, how much is this worth?
It cheapens it. It cheapens
Yeah.
it intentionally. You know, it's like
and it's also giving
yeah, that's maybe the word.
I also find SP to be like chains. You know, like when you chain down and weighed down by all these things, and you know, social sexual kind of just want to just fly and flow and do all these.
It's a time waster. Like, why am I going to be wasting my time, my precious time and energy on these things that don't have significance really, or that aren't going to?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, but you can use it like this money. I don't know if you like earn stuff, then you can use it to.
So I also teach art, and I worked for 6 months without putting in an invoice to get paid. I just didn't.
That's so SP-blind of you, dude.
Did not occur to me until somebody was like, Beth,
seriously
now.
Fucking work
yeah.
for free. What is this? That's very SP-blind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a drawback, because it's kind of like not valuing yourself and your time and your output as well. I mean, you're valuing in a certain way, but not valuing in real life things, you know. And I don't know, maybe it's also the 9 thing too.
It just feels shallow also in a way. Like if you have like money as a status symbol or whatever, it's like, it's very shallow, because underneath this person can still be fucking empty.
Right. Like, why would I judge somebody based on income level or even like anything like that? That is not the core of a person or what makes a person anything that I, you know. So I really related to what you were saying, Kaltra, prior about that's not how you judge a person.
Yeah.
How would you judge a person?
How would I judge a person? I don't judge people.
That is such a big fat lie coming from a 9.
Okay, I can get judged. Sure, I can. I actually have very high standards for aesthetics. I will say that.
Yeah, me too.
Very, very high standards for aesthetics. Like, I mean, I can see past it. I can, because I have, you know, I love people, whatever. But I mean,
such a good person. So you can.
Yeah.
I judge people on interpersonal relationships, like if you're someone who doesn't keep their word, for example, if you promise something and you just go off and not keep your promise, that's just, you know, I kind of get crossed out in my book or something, like things like this. If you just the way you treat people, or the way, you know, if I feel like you're fake in the way you're acting, that's, you know, that's a judgment. You know, different little things. I mean, sometimes they're not even very obvious, but I kind of notice little things and I kind of make judgments based on that. And sometimes I'm wrong, but
yeah, it's fascinating because you said you get, if you don't keep up with my social standards, then you get crossed out of my book, which is a very rejection stance. So I think that's where your wing is showing in contrast.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Was at first, her first instinct is to say, I don't judge people, but specified objection here. I have high standards in aesthetics, and I have a 1 wing that's very refined and very particular about things.
Yeah, that 1-4, that little frustration, little joint there is it's pretty strong. It is. So
Is a 3-wing 4 your last? Yeah, for you too, right? For you, Kaltra?
I think so. Not
Yeah.
100%. Sometimes I wonder if it's second, but it's not really when I think about it.
I had a second, the 6. It's always there, that little voice, that 615.
Questioning
It's
everything.
more external. I think people probably would notice the 3 more, but the 6 is loud to me.
That's annoying. Stupid 6, meddling everything. Shitting on everything. No?
I actually like my 6 fix.
Yeah, okay.
You're
It's
at
the
odds.
one. No, I like it because it's the one that kind of makes up for my blindness a little bit by being so practical and so pragmatic, and especially since 5, it's like, okay, I don't have inclination for this stuff, but I can figure out how to make it work somehow, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. And it kind of also alerts me to dangers that I might not, you know.
So that's
be
like,
aware
that
of.
on accurate, actually. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I have a question about everyone, actually. So now that we know what our stackings are and what our blind spots are, like, well, how do you work with that? What have you done? How have you changed?
I'm trying to be more risk-taking and to let to let loose of my SP leash a little bit. So this year I've been paying less attention to the state of my home, to all of my routines and structures, or I try to mess them up a little bit deliberately. I'm not as on top of things as I used to be, and this is causing me an identity crisis. But it's I feel that there's more through this all of this being shaken up. There's more room for the sexual instinct to kind of creep in through some holes that I created by doing this. I don't know.
And allow yourself to have more adventures and to, you know, to actually experience that.
Yeah,
like this.
This is like my goal, to be in the moment just once in my life, which I can't do without taking drugs. It's just I can't ever be fully present with anyone. And I mean, this also it's overcomplicated because I'm triple withdrawn, so I'm very inside of myself all the time. But yeah, trying to just be more, to let disruption, to welcome some disruption of my eternal anal refinement of anything that is so important to me, but that's actually, that not important to life, because I miss these moments. As I said before, I miss moments. I sacrifice them for something.
Self-pres first, their boundaries, personal boundaries, are, they have that wall up. Whereas the opposite, they don't. Open, they open themselves up to everybody. They lose themselves, they lose their personhood. Sort of.
Yeah.
So are you trying to build your own walls, Kaltra and Beth?
I've learning a little bit too. I have some, learning what boundaries are, what it means to put up a boundary somewhere.
It's also about self-respect in a way. It's like
it's taken a while. I mean, typically I would leave everything completely open, every relationship open, unless you're just a hard no. I mean, that happens too, just no. But usually it's regardless of the person, there's going to be an open relationship there.
Yeah, kind of relate to that one, the openness of this stuff. So for me, I mean, the boundaries thing has been a thing that I've really had to work on and figure out where I'm going to put them, like recognizing that someone stepping on them before they kind of just all the way in, so yeah, so that's something. Yeah. And the other thing I've been kind of working on is just like seeing where my SP-Blindness is just messing up my social. And, you know, like all the ways where like, I don't notice how worn out or burnt out I am, and kind of just keep going and going and going. And then I'm just to a point where I just can't talk to anyone, and I like, you know, can't socialize for a while until I recover and all that stuff. So that's one thing. And then another, like more, like we were talking about money before. And as much as I hated thinking about it before, it's like, I have to. And my refusal to think about it before, it's like I'm at a point now, you know, middle age has like, I don't have any savings, and I don't like, I'm trying to get my kids through college and everything, so that I'm not thinking about it before and not planning ahead has me to a point where I'm like, I still have to work all the time to make sure that I kind of provide for everyone. So now I'm at a point where like, I can't do the things I want to do because I have to work, because I didn't think about it ahead of time. And I could have, if I could have thought about it a bit more and planned a little bit better, then I would have more freedom to do what I want to do. So that's kind of think of it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing that I do, it's kind of taking these opportunities to kind of be more social and be kind of seen by other people a bit more. Like this was, you know, I said I'm used to Zoom, but I'm not used to having something that's going to be posted somewhere to be seen by other people. You know, so that feels kind of terrifying. Then my social instinct is like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to be judged by other people. But like I'm pushing myself to do these things and be like, you know what, well, you didn't die, it's fine. Like even if you get judged, it's okay, you're not going to die. So kind of have that relax a little bit. So yeah.
But it's also helpful, you know, for the social realm,
Yes,
for you to put out this
reframing.
video.
Reframing.
Yeah, because you create now you can, like this, we create like content for other people to see, and then, you know, understand themselves better, or it's like a learning thing for other people. So it's actually, it's also a good thing, you know, you're also helping your social in a way, and like to expose yourself more like this. Yeah, I think so.
It's just I guess with also the Bermuda and the Nine or whatever, just feeling like, do I really have anything to offer, and kind of like doubting myself that way, and kind of being scared to do it, because like, what if I really don't have anything to offer, and what if, you know, I am just as, you know, mediocre as I think I am, you know.
So you're not mediocre.
Spoke about these difficult to put into word things with so much clarity and insight, and I'm already really stoked about this call, and I appreciate you being here so much.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
For both of you, really. Yeah. And it's scary to put yourself out there, of course, especially when you've never done, you know, something like that. But yeah, but it's also freeing in a way, and it will help you push yourself. I don't know. It's also
stars. Everybody's going to crave Kaltra and Beth content from now on.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that Contraflow, on the example for sexual social, is kind of dispersing the sexual, but not expanding. It's compared to sexual self-press, it's diluting the sexual flavor a little bit, or to me it feels I think you said, Shanti, when I asked you what would being more social mean to your sexual instinct, and I found this was a very poignant point that you made. You said you would feel stretched out, like too little butter on a slice of bread. You would be dispersed, and I think if you use social for sexual, the sexual gets kind of dispersed. What makes it more universally attractive for a sexual social, like the singer that is admired on stage and everyone in the room is just smitten and enchanted by their presence, whereas sexual self-press is the shaman in the corner, having one person drawn to them that they're just doing their thing with. And so it's less of an odor if you and that's a contraflow thing. I think also.
Lack of a personal take, maybe.
Yeah.
Like with yeah.
But
so
actually
with
what
me, it's
sexual
more
social
about the self.
seeks is
So
not to, or is it? I mean, Beth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what sexual social is seeking, of course, it's admiration and it's being the beautiful, especially knowing the beautiful object, the statue that's admired and adored. But it's not that you want to enter a room and be the superstar, because you also seek that one-on-one personal
Right, but yeah, you also can't help but have people inadvertently be attracted to you. I mean, as you are engaging with perhaps one person, I mean, it is going to spark other little tiny sparks elsewhere. People are going to still be drawn to that. I mean, whether I'm singing, if I'm, singing in front of a group of people, then of course it's going to be, anybody can catch that. But I do, in part, I mean, there is a presence with the sexual social that will light up space. This is kind of what happens. We were talking earlier about the Contra, and I picture them I'm a visual person. I picture Contra and Synflow in visual senses. Contra being so we were saying earlier, it's singular, it's individualistic, it has a very isolated, almost turning into themselves, specified. So it's like they are their one singular person that is going to be admired by the rest. I think Synflow, their body is right. Yes, whereas Synflow is more everything is out, perhaps. It is always outward. Kind of
also more open.
It made sense in my mind. I apologize if it was confusing.
No, that was great. That was very helpful. Yeah.
The way I think of it, it's like what's come into mind for me. I'm, don't have a very clear idea, but it's like the Contra is kind of more like broadcasting, so reaching more people, but it's isolated within themselves. Like even with like social press, for example, where they thinking of like building or structures and like large scale societal stuff, but the actual person is kind of isolated from that, or maybe like hiding from behind what they're building or something. Like they're not, merging or like, flowing in with other people. With like Synflow is more flowing in or flowing into or flowing with the rest of.
Yes,
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I see that.
And some anecdotal thing that how contrasts always get to me is that I think that Synflow really has a sincerity to it. It's very, you see what you get. And with Contraflow, it's a subtle thing of playing with attraction and repulsion, with whatever instincts you got for that. So to me, this can be very confusing. So we made this, in our group, we made the distinctions that Synflows are simps and Contraflows are trolls. And the Contraflows love to and love to just
like going against.
What the fuck are you being serious? And I would completely break down in that moment and would say, no, I'm not being serious. Don't get this wrong. I'm being sincere here. This is what I mean, and this is what I say. And the Contra is just dragging it out until you. When we had Contraflow and Synflow people in our group, that this was really disturbing sometimes.
Yeah, they can keep this their joke or whatever. They can keep it on for a longer time. It's like I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, but I experienced that. Yes.
Yeah, and also pulling the self away before you can actually completely connect to them or reach them. There's a pulling away again. It's like they're tied. and you are just one direction, and you try to catch the tides, and then the wave meets you, but then it's pulling back, and you leave there you're hollow. And yeah.
That is Contraflow.
That is actually.
It's strange that it's actually like in all those different, you know, in those 3 different stackings, it's still this playing in a way. It's like it's like a faux sexual thing of like attracting and then pushing away again.
Yeah, with whatever you have. I mean, with SOSP, it's less about attracting or repulsing. I feel more that like I'm being tested for my social significance or utility or
Belief.
and yeah.
Yeah, and also like which group you belong to or whatever. It's more like judgeable or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like you feel more.
Yeah, this is also too high for my awareness in social. Like I've learned, but I'm still. This is the we said this in the 7 core, the abundance of the second instinct. It feels like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of in the picture, but I don't care as much to be fully enmeshed with it. I don't I value me, myself, and I like a good narcissistic SP dom ultimately.
For the other stackings, because you said for social self-press.
Oh no, I was just saying that it doesn't feel like a sexual interplay. SOSP is very dry. Because you were referring to, it has this kind of sexual play flavor. And I think it definitely has in sexual social and in SPSX, but not as much in SOSP. SOSP are just the gatekeepers to me.
The sexual realm. That's funny.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good rest of the day. My cat says bye.
Bye.
Right.
Okay.
It's in the water, baby. It's in the pills that pick you up. It's in the water, baby. It's in the special way we fuck. It's in the water, baby. It's in your family tree. It's in the water, baby. It's between you and me. Bite the hand that feeds. Tap the vein that bleeds. Down on my bended knee, I break the back of love for you. 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 It's in the water, baby. It's in the pills that bring you down. It's in the water, baby. It's in your bag of golden brown. It's in the water, baby. It's in your frequency. It's in the water, baby. It's between